My teacher used to say, I breathe the breath of God and I am a living soul. And so, you know, what both Edith and Jean Davis were talking about is that it's only when we come into to recognize that reality of our being that we are born on the breath of God, and it is the breath of our life and our manifest experience that we begin to be very lifted up above the other beliefs that we previously had before about ourselves. So thank you, Jean. I noticed both of you were mentioning that. So I'd like to look this morning specifically as to how we can be lifted up by thanksgiving. And also let us just know in consciousness this morning that, you know, here we are, we're looking into the underlying meaning, the meaning beneath. We know that we have great celebrations going on all over the place on the external, but let us also realize what these outer celebrations mean to us, that we are honoring the divine season of Thanksgiving. And we're looking today at the mighty power of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving stands as a divine attitude, which when you take it on, it heals you, prospers you, blesses you, and empowers you completely. Completely. If you could record or look within or read within the inner attitudes within a consciousness of the mystics, saints, and sages throughout the ages, you would observe the inner language is a constant stream of thanks. It is always thanks, 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 morning, noon, and night. It is said if that's all we ever did, just walked around saying thank you, thank you, thank you, to that source of our life, that we would experience every good of the kingdom. Okay? So the sublime ones, these ones like Christ, the Buddha, and us, who abide in this sweet perfume of knowing and fragrant consciousness of the divine, recognize only this one ineffable power that always moves before us, which we call God, I am, Father, Mother, God, infinite love. They bask consistently in the bliss of this knowing within. And thus they are in right relationship with that one and only invisible power, walking, talking with God, far transcendent of experiences, walking above those waters, knowing the truth. And out of this knowing, this innocent knowing, is born each and every miracle. I like to say miracles can only happen to the innocent. And what does that mean? That means those of us who are free enough to detach from our past like it's so much nothing. You know, the only power that you have is today. The only time you can come into awareness of yourself as a divine being is today. Now. So your history is a no power. So the innocent looks away. We call this also don't look at appearances. The innocent, you know, looks away from that and does not become enmeshed in that and looks to God, the source, or the perfect truth. Emmett Fox also says this, you know, when you have an issue, a problem, you cannot solve the problem by going into it. Turn away and look at the light. God, which is the truth of your being, of wholeness, the truth of wholeness, completeness, and all that which is the kingdom. So, we need to cultivate this attitude within ourselves. Thank you. So the first lesson in miracles, when you start moving up into the miracle experience, is to convert, begin converting all self-talk habits Anybody ever talk to themselves? Not me. All self-talk habits of criticism of yourself, another, an experience, any and all things. There is no room for criticism. Doubts, judgments, opinions, despairs start converting all of these self-talk things consciously. It's okay if the trigger goes off and they come up, things come up. Weeds come up in the garden. The only thing that matters is that you are alert to it, and at the moment that you see I'm in this mode, you convert it to become the positive substance of gratitude. We could say, well, when we're criticizing things, like we say, it's not enough. That's not good enough. That person's not good enough. That idea is not good. How we are. Judgmental. This judgment, it says judge not, because we see limitedly. We don't see as God sees unless we consciously cultivate. So by taking our mind away from this and we turn it to gratitude, we introduce the positive substance of gratitude. For we know that which is my mind is on, I become. That which I am grateful for, I receive. What I think of God, the universe, myself, is what I shall project as my experience. So if we want more, we must first, give thanks for what we have. That's right. Catherine Ponder, she goes and has a tremendous abundance consciousness. She goes around, she blesses everything in her apartment, every piece of furniture, everything that is. And as you know, Catherine Ponder is prospering quite well. She's pondered this truth. All have come to realize this. We must first give thanks for what we have. This is the secret to multiplying our good. All right? So, this is the first step. If I want a new thing in my life, the first step in the creative sequence is to lift mine eyes into the hills, which is the summit of my perfect knowing, my good vision, the crown chakra. I lift mine eyes up to the hills, the highest vision I have, from whence cometh my good, from whence manifests my good. First step in the creative sequence. In other words, I must operate my right relationship with infinite creator, creative mind, through thanking in advance within myself, keeping myself related to limitless principle alone, recognizing it is my consciousness of good, my giving thanks for good, my vision of good, that produces the good. What causal? You are a causal being. So there is no power out there. It is your consciousness of good produces your good. John Randolph Price says, my consciousness of supply is my supply and becomes my supply. So the first step in that creative sequence, when you want more, when you want a new thing, is to give thanks in advance, silently in your meditations, within yourself. Dwell upon your vision of good. And by giving thanks in advance, you link up to the divine power that has always created everything for you, always in your life. No other power has ever manifested anything for you. It is the divine power of the infinite power, creative power, that when you think into it, moves out in the invisible planes to manifest out of it the allness of itself, that which you require. So by giving thanks in advance, like the mystics, we link up to the divine and that which knows no limit and is all in all. I am empowered, and I know by giving thanks in advance that regardless of appearances, that which I have silently given thanks to has ignited invisible God processes of creation that do not fail to move out into action on my behalf. So, we are always, so let me just summarize that, okay? The most important thing is giving thanks in creation. And that's what Christ did. Thank you, Father. I know you hear me. I know you hear me always. Period. Beginning and completion, all in that. So when you want more of what you have, give thanks for what you have. Do not criticize it. Do not criticize it. If you want a new thing, establish your vision and give thanks for God, mighty power, creative action that goes out to manifest for you. That's all you have to do and maintain that consciousness. So we are always operating, realize this, we are always operating this great creative law consciously or unconsciously. This dynamic, multiplying divine power of thanks, we are always directing the substance of our faith and our thanks through how? Our projections. If I am projecting negatively, I'm giving thanks for the negative. Since I alone am responsible for my world, okay? If I am projecting positively, in essence, I am already giving thanks, utilizing my power of faith in a certain outcome. So realize, faith and thanks are not nebulous things. They are actual creative substance which you are always using, consciously or unconsciously. It said that fear is faith in that which I don't want. Giving power to what I don't want. I mean, when I cognized this myself, what a great realization, because I thought fear was something I had no control over. You know how you get those overwhelming feelings? You say, I can't do anything about this. But actually, if you realize that fear and that faith and thanks are creative powers, your two tools, then you will watch your projections, and if you see a negative projection going by, realizing you're the only power in your life, change it to be the most glorious that you can think of, and give thanks for that. And it doesn't matter how many times we fall off the bike. It doesn't matter how many times we, go off the path, which is a narrow path, meaning, we must pay attention. This is a teaching for people with wishbone, backbone, not wishbone, right? So it requires vigilance as we are correcting our consciousness. So when you see your mind go awry, don't get upset. Just say, there it is doing it again. Come into peace, and then reestablish the truth. Silently within yourself, in the middle of your business meetings, your busy day, whatever you're doing. This is an on the spot, on the job, at the location activity. Okay? Don't wait till later. Do as much as you can do right now in the instant. All right, so know if things are going awry, perhaps you are thinking into the universe or thanking the universe for what you don't want. So simply realize that and consciously correct your thought feelings to dwell on God and divine realities instead. Divine realities. Because the promises are all the kingdom. If mine eye be single, I shall be filled with light. My life shall be manifesting light and all that God is in all my circumstances. So consciously correct your thought feelings. Dwell on divine realities. Let us heal ourselves. And I use this very often, and it's so simple. And when I'm getting stuck, And I know I'm stuck, because you know when you're out of tune, right? So let us heal ourselves by saying to ourselves, getting still first when we realize we're off course, and then get still and ask, what would a loving God be expecting for itself here? What does my Father in heaven, meaning divine mind, want for me here? Detach from all outer influence and come into the center. Tune up to your God level. Transcend and let go of unnecessary limitations, unbefitting for a son or daughter of the Most High. What are we hanging out with limitations for? Okay? Annalise Scarron says, ye are gods. You are one with God. So Thanksgiving is a mighty power, you see, and substance. Not only is it creative and initiating, multiplying and connecting you to the great powers and source of all of life, it is a miracle worker. Thanksgiving pours its opulent substance over barriers and resistances, like hot water over freezing cold ice, melting all barriers to your good. It is beyond persons and beyond personal will. It cannot know rejection. It is God in us knowing itself completely. You know, God desires a thing, does not have to, it's an automatic. You would assume, thank you, self. I desire world today. So I speak my word of world, and it and when I say it is beyond persons and personal will, it is because it is a divine energy, and it is the energy of God knowing itself. And I'll just tell you, it reverses. It can reverse all no's. And I'll just give you two examples to how this works. Remember last week we said the universe is a yes universe. We live in a yes system. So there really are no no's, except those we have been led to believe from other authorities. But God in us never says no to us. So Britannia Alda, who's one of my students, very wonderful, she is out in California demonstrating a mile a minute her film career right now. And Britannia, we've been working together for quite a while, and she came to a place where she had a ongoing commercial, that she was the spokesperson on, or the main person on, and it was a good account for her. And they were, renegotiating to rerun that contract, and so, we had treated on it, that all things would go right, and the contract was turned down. Okay, and or it didn't, or something. They had decided that they didn't want to run it. They were going to choose a new one to run. So Britannia called me, and we talked about it, and I said, that's not the end of the story. There aren't any no's. So just release this, to go out to those the higher authorities, and release it to work out perfectly. So the next day, she got a call saying the higher authorities, which were the sponsors, which were the money people, had decided that they wanted that commercial, and they didn't care what the advice of the advertising company was. They wanted Britannia, and they wanted that commercial. So you see, there aren't any no's, right? And everything finds its perfect outlet. So I find that very interesting, and I'll just tell you one more that I hope Maya won't mind my saying this, but we were working this week on getting some very beautiful floral designs for the UN, and they're quite expensive. And one of my persons had called and asked the person if they would be willing to donate, et cetera, and the person that he talked to seemed very willing, and they would be delighted to do that. And we were, already rejoicing. This is what a great demonstration, right? and then, unbeknownst to me, well, I called Maya then and left a message for her how great that was. So then unbeknownst to me, then I got a call back from the original person who said that he got a call back, the person who talked to his partner, and he said absolutely not, they couldn't do it. So that was okay, we were released on it. But unknowingly, Maya calls the guy and says, thank you, thank you so much. And as it turns out, because of that, she didn't hear the no. She knew nothing about it. She calls. He says, well, what are you calling me to thank me for? And she said, oh, no, right? And so as it turns out, they're going to give us a very excellent deal on it. So it was reversed. And it was in the moment that I was working on the talk, and realizing that power that I got the call from Maya. So that is that great power of thanks. It doesn't know no. It's innocent, beyond persons. Okay? All right, so it reverses, it restores, it activates the divine ideal, which is the idea of perfection in any circumstance for you. It puts God, the divine mind, back in charge, not conditions. Puts God, the divine mind, back in charge. It is the smile of the Buddha. It is the transfiguration of the Christ. And is the knowing in you and me, with God, all things are possible. Nothing is impossible to me. Thanksgiving introduces the chemical, the substance of divine love, and opens doors where there were no doors, makes ways where there were no ways, demonstrates supply where there was no supply only a moment before. Thanksgiving awakens the sleeping God-Goddess within, and every molecule of the universe responds to thanksgiving. Do you see how fast those molecules of bread got together for Christ when he gave thanks? So realize, every invisible atom and molecule of the universe responds to you when you give thanks. Thus it catalyzes, it awakens, and provides every good thing. It is the providing law. It provides every good thing. Keep thine eyes single and filled with light on the truth of God. Yes, in a consciousness of God, we draw nigh to ourselves the incomprehensible kingdom of every good. How is it that simple thanks can do this great thing? Simple thanks can create the miracle, open the door, because above all, it implies our inner knowing and awareness of the divine presence that we are connected to within us, that we live in, that can and does do all. That which is beyond the human, that which manifests the human, that which cannot know ideas of limitation. Thereby, thanksgiving releases the substance and power of faith that can remove the mountains, part seas, and manifest spontaneous good, dissolving all negative effects of criticism, separation, and fear in the instant. In the instant. Thanksgiving accelerates us into God activity and aligns us with God activity and divine patterns of fulfillment, establishing pure right relationship with the perfect power and cosmic presence. It dissolves space-time barriers and makes us silent, mighty, magnetic, constructive, positive centers of attraction, clears the body physical, arights and adjusts and aligns all conditions. So practice thinking in terms of what you want, never what you don't want. Then be still and know that you are God and God is the only power, and give thanks for that great reality. Set your end result to be fulfillment. Expect fulfillment. Know God is the only power and the only influence in your life. You are depending on your divine God alone. Start by giving thanks to what you have at your disposal right now, and the greatest thanks of all is what Jean said. That which you have right now is all in all, for it is mighty God in the midst of you. Get off the odds, reverse your negations, accept all the goods of divine love, and be peace, be love, be praise, be blessing, be thanks to the miracle one within you who doeth the works. Set up conscious causes of only good, conscious causes, be causal being. Set up conscious causes of only good and glorious expectations through your steadfast, silent, peaceful expectancy. There is no past, present, or future to deal with. There is only God, and only God belongs to you. For I and the Father are one. Love links you to your good. Thanksgiving is that heart of love in creative action, and your mighty consciousness of thanks moves before you despite appearances and shall renew you, restore you, resurrect you, and prepare you for the birth of your Christ self within, your perfected consciousness within, and the glory of your exquisite demonstrations of God, the bountiful kingdom, in every area of your life. And so it is. So don't forget how great thou art. Okay? So, if you need a miracle, let it go. Think of what you want. If you need a miracle, let it go now. Let your word go now. Let it go now to God, for God is instant. God is instant. Okay? So what I'd like to do right now is a short meditation just to ground us in this knowing. Okay? So let us go within. Right now. To the highest high, the temple within, the summit of all consciousness, rising through the crown chakra and out of the body to gently overview a vast sea of profound radiant substance, which we call God. Now in fullest, most aware consciousness, we travel now to overview the activity of our conscious field of expectations. We view the activity of our own minds. Do we notice anything that needs transformation right now, that is connected with our heart's desire right now? Is there anything that requires conversion from us? Right now, we heal that expectation to know and to see and to affirm only jubilant God of perfection and connectedness. We take to our heart only that which is ours in the kingdom. As we do this, we see all is coming into radiant, opulent order. We are lifted, transcendent. We marvel at the glory and power of it all. And we say, thank you, God, for thy grace, for thy boundless freedom, for thy clarity, for thy knowing. I am opulent joy of thee. And so it is. You know, very often when we make these shifts, we notice ourselves thinking off-center and make that shift. It's like a chiropractic adjustment. Have you ever been to the chiropractor, how great it feels, and they just like, you know, that crack, and then everything is like, you know, recharged and lined up. So it's the very same thing that we're talking about, making the adjustment in the thought that brings all things right. You know, every week I write these, you all know the I am statements, and you know how powerful they are. So we'll read them together now, out loud, letting these words absorb into our, you know, into our internal, our cellular structure, okay, because we want all that light and all that power. And remember, anytime during the week, you know, since if you know, things happen and we go off course, anytime you feel yourself going off course, just bring yourself back to get on course by reading this. And we know by maintaining this consciousness, we stay with the deepest current of the season, and as a result, we experience the greatest results. I am that I am, and right now I declare I am one with the all in all, with the omnipotent and the omnipresent. The rich, radiant, and the complete is right where I am. Therefore, I know whatever I desire is already present in the one mind of God. Yes, I have the eternal luxury to always give thanks in advance for each and every good, even before it appears. I am confident, for I know the perfect one of love always moves before me, opening all doors, dissolving all errors and barriers, making ways where there seem to be none. Yes, divine God is always the light presence and miraculous power of a perfect substance, always demonstrating each and every glorious gift. Right now, as I realize my limitless oneness with that which is sublime, a mighty fountain of opulent good is immediately established in my life, so profound, so awesome, that nothing can deny. Thanks before, during, and after, O God of my being. Thou art the manifest perfection beyond comprehension. Thou art the bliss of miracles complete, and so it is. And I know that through this consciousness of silently, constantly giving thanks, each one of us demonstrates some wonderful, miraculous opening in abundance in your life this week.